The format for tonight's meeting, we're going to open with the 15 minutes public forum. Please just have any discussions you want to have and raise any points for the council. This will be followed by the formal parish council meeting where we'll move to the agenda items. Since the last parish council meeting, we've unfortunately had the passing of Ivan, so our condolences goes to his wife Jean. Also, just want to use this as an opportunity to remind people of the standing orders. Please follow them. The parish council will obviously be looking to do likewise. We'll find that if any deviating from the standing orders, will be initially moved to asking people to be quiet. We'll then move to pausing the meeting. If it continues after that, we're going to have to ask people to leave. And failing that, we will look to have to postpone and reschedule the meeting if it's unable to go ahead in the correct format. So from there, I invite the public forum debate to please begin. Well, if there's no objections, by all means object. We'll move on to the business of the councils from the agenda. So first up, there is some apologies. Unfortunately, both Alex and Penny have unfortunately had to send their apologies and are unable to attend tonight. Yes, thank you. Alex is coming on. You can chip in if you like. Alex is coming in on Wednesday, so you can cost him, yeah, for the road works and the drainage now. So I did notice today that there was some teams down at the roads doing what looked like repair works. How good they were. Well, they're playing with time. Yeah.
Has there been an agenda set for that meeting then?
No.
No, it's just a public meeting.
He's just invited us to see it, but we've invited residents as well. It's in fact.
Right,
It's in the public interest what
yeah,
he has to offer there.
I just wondered if there was an agenda coming then.
No. Okay. Number 2, correspondence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we follow up?
Yeah, please.
Each councillor has received private and confidential letters, but these have been dealt with. Secondly, we've had letters, emails and comments from residents regarding behaviour towards the councillor after the last meeting, and these have been filed, and the chair has issued a statement regarding this. You've already said it, haven't you? If there is any abusive language or such directed at any councillors or to any of you during or after the meeting, then we will have to take action. I've also had correspondence, a talk today with a resident managing the speed signs team, and they have asked for any more volunteers to help them to erect and deal with the speed signs, if there's anyone who would like to help.
Well, I have offered, but we've never come back to them.
Haven't they?
No.
Right, okay.
What's involved? What? Do we need charging up or?
Need to change the battery
Yeah, I was
every
gonna say, so-
sort of, depends on how busy it is, but sort of every 10 days, maybe 2 weeks, depends what road it's on.
I mean, I'm happy to go and change them occasionally.
It's a sort of couple of 3 people
Right,
like
Well, obviously,
Okay, Mark.
the one thing I wondered about was if they needed charging.
There's 2 batteries, one...
Oh, so you just
tends
swap
to
the
go
batteries?
back-
Yeah,
yeah,
committee,
yeah.
and we'll have a
Where's the battery?
let's have a chat with the subcommittee. We'll put forward that there are volunteers out there.
Right, I'll put forward your names to the subcommittee, and they can get in touch with you and have a chat.
Well, I'm happy to do it, you know. Obviously not all the time, sure go away, but there's a couple of things.
I'll put a note up on the notice board. That would probably be best, wouldn't it? I'll put a message up
I'll
on.
just talk to Alex and say, there's a
Okay.
couple of people.
Yeah.
We've got our own WhatsApp group, so
Ah,
Right.
right, okay.
Sam also
They do test
will
us
be.
that way.
WhatsApp group. Okay, yeah. We'll have a chat with the committee, I think. The
Sam will
subcommittee.
now be working with them with the group because he's quite interested in getting some more signs for the village.
great.
So I think he's going to drive that from the council side and work together with your group. He's already had some emails from you. Thanks. I think that's all the correspondence.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So just to wrap it up, there's a comment from Chair. We do welcome correspondence, really want to encourage the correspondence to come through. Anything that's sent through will get dealt with, will get treated seriously, whether that's complaint, whether that's praise, or just highlighting issues. So please do engage with the council. Agenda item number 3, conflicts, disclosures of interest.
No.
No. Okay, moving on to ratifying the minutes of the last meeting. We need to go through, we all need to agree the meeting.
Yep. I'll propose it.
Second it.
Sorry, I didn't count the vote.
Yeah.
All passed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Clerk's, agenda item number 5, Clerk's report on any matters outstanding from the last meeting.
Right. First one, the roads. There's been some renovation which is now being carried out on part of Clancy Lane now, Pack and over the bridge, as well as the section leading up to the junction at Drive Doddington, which you've all seen. We do realise there have been further issues following this work, and this is currently being investigated. Councillor Alex Moore is not here today, but it's kindly offered to meet councillors here on Wednesday this week to answer any questions, which I'm sure there'll be a big crowd of you coming from the sound of it. We would also like to invite residents to join us. This is not a formal council meeting, but questions will be recorded to follow up if necessary. Secondly,
Question.
the neighbourhood plan was raised last meeting by a resident. Councillor Penny Mills has recently told me that she can't attend this meeting, but she said that she'll update the councillors to a list of shortfalls compared to a local plan, which is more information. And now, I've said that Councillor Jackie Britton has more to say with regard to update of the neighbourhood plan, but I think, Jackie, do you have anything more to say?
No, I mean, that's, is it down as the last item on here at 11? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if I
Yes.
just
Well,
summarise,
we'll leave it to
if
that.
I summarise what
Yeah.
Penny said and what my sort of
Okay.
findings are at that point.
I think Sam's pointed out to me that there is a mistake on the agenda just on the last point, which could change anyway. It's the next meeting. The next meeting is actually the 16th of December, not the 17th of March. We wouldn't leave it that long, I don't think. So it's 16th of December at the moment. It's quite close to Christmas this, so we'll keep residents updated if there's any change on that. And we'll make sure to confirm dates well before then. We did mention the bank TSB, which we haven't updated yet due to several of us being away at summer holiday several times, and it's been difficult to update the bank details, but we'll have a go at that before December. There have only been 3 payments by cheque. The paint for the gates, which we got 2 pots of £50 paint, and we have joined the LAUC annual training scheme for £50 plus VAT, which means that we can all get training to new councillors, and the chairs had some training as well. As Sam hasn't mentioned yet, but we had some extremely sad news this week of our webmaster at LAUC, Pete Langford. I don't know if any others know him out here. He suddenly passed away It was such a shock for us, those who know them, were certainly missed his efficient and timely manner. His wife has asked for no messages. If anyone knows of that email, please don't use it. Use like movable speed signs that we've spoken about, ongoing and details of further progress at our December meeting, hopefully, which Sam's in charge of. And the garden club, which we mentioned last time, is no longer actually meeting. However, our request for further planting sprig bulbs with the help of volunteers is certainly ongoing. Also, our thanks go out to all you willing volunteers who painted the gates. They're looking really good. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay.
That's all the last one.
Thank you very much. Item number 6, finances. Items paid since the last meetings and balance carried forward.
It's just those. Those two, I've summarised that. Yes, 2 lots of £50 and 1 lot of 60. That was paint and the ATS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions? From
No.
Thank you.
number 7, biodiversity project from the SKDC.
Right, well, none of us want to talk about this, really, do we?
Well, I think we none of us understand the biodiversity elements of it, but that's not necessarily a reason not to look down what is being offered there.
Yeah.
So
You sent me now, didn't we?
yeah. And some suggestions have come through for the for supporting the avian life, the outbox, the bat boxes, that's on avian life. The outboxes, the bat boxes, and the bird boxes, community garden, wildflower area. To my mind, the limiting factor is available space, with it being carried out on parish grounds. That's not necessarily to say we shouldn't look down something, no.
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah. You know, we should pursue something. Yeah. If we can, you know.
Yeah, it's. I suppose it's a balancing act though, because often the projects that most enhance biodiversity aren't always the prettiest. The wildflower meadow looks great when it's in flower, but you do have long periods of time of it being. It's not looking the best, and the parish lands generally in quite prominent areas.
Yeah.
You'd have to be on parish land, you know.
Yeah, and I don't think planning up the village green or the
No.
other areas.
No, I was thinking more.
Long grass, isn't it?
Yeah, I was thinking more to goals like the bird boxes and things. You know, if we can get just bits and bobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you put something, for instance, on the tree, with Colin's permission, on the tree that everybody sees when they walk down Fenton Road, on Colin's land?
We're not clear whether it's got to go on
Parish land.
on parish land.
It's just that everybody
Yeah.
sees that when they,
Yeah.
when they're walking down, because it's such a prominent tree.
Yeah, I mean, this is great because, like they were saying, Rob was saying that the one in Stupton Hall Ground, the owl box, is property pieces, but we don't know whether the grant will include putting them on.
It said in the email that it wouldn't.
Okay.
For parish land.
Oh right, okay.
I have to get.
Could we not argue they pay their rates to the local authority, therefore?
Yeah, but yeah.
Where they offered in the past, which was a tree planting programme, as long as it could be seen from public land, and maybe, as Sam's saying, maybe if we make the point to say we don't have a village green per se, a very small area. We're just not blessed with lots of land that exactly fits that criteria, and a little bit of leeway that would still benefit the people that live in the village. Perhaps put a case in that sort of direction, along the lines of what Kathleen just said.
It must be town or parish owned and accessible to the public. I don't know. The way it's written, it feels quite unsecure at the moment, that they're just putting out a biodiversity project because SKDC want to tick a few boxes in their own sort of like what they want to achieve. So they've put out biodiversity and they're hoping that parish councils are going to pick this up. They're only offering 80% funding for it, which may feel like quite a bit. And I'll speak to someone. There's this Louise Case who's doing this.
Yeah, I mean, when you look through what they've listed, like sort of back boxes and things. I mean,
Yeah.
they wouldn't normally go in sort of like play areas and things anyway. They normally go in quiet bits, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's difficult to think of like, because you know, usually village greens are kind of in the middle of the village. You couldn't
Yeah.
imagine like an owl box being stuck.
No, but we did
No.
get birds nesting in the bus stop.
No, what I meant is that they're kind of offering something, but saying it's got to go on, you know.
Yeah,
It
but
would
that's
need
what
to
I'm
be-
saying. If you
yeah.
could then put a proper bird box for them and say to them, just nesting roughly.
Yeah.
I also question if we hear quite a lot of owls around here. We're looking at the biodiversity side of things. We're looking at that, about what these animals eat and what those animals eat and what they eat, and the whole
chain,
ecosystem when it comes
Yeah,
to the
you've got to start with
biodiversity.
the insects.
Introduce some mice, is that?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Feel mice adopt that's the problem.
On this invitation though, they have put a lot on it, and they've just put a couple of examples, haven't they? And what you can download to have a look at. And then they've put emails, email this person if you want to apply for it. And I think if we're going to vote on something, we'll vote for whether we're going to apply for a grant for something and think of that, think of where we can put that box
Is there
and
a deadline on
things
it?
like that. Sorry,
Is there a deadline on
I think it's 24th of September, Orchard Fund will be.
I think if you're going to get 80%
I think
of
it's
the cost of a bat
before
box,
the end
it's
of
hardly
March
worth filling the form, to be
2025.
honest.
it? Okay, so we've got
We've
time
got
to
till
look
the end of
into
March.
it.
Yeah, but I think we'll get started on it now.
Yeah, but we've
Maybe
got
not
time.
Yeah.
It's such a small percentage.
Okay, so we'll put it back to the motion then, which is consider various projects related to biodiversity, community garden, wildflower areas, and apply for a grant to fund these.
Got
Put it forwards.
Yeah.
So that was passed. Agenda item number 8, road renovations. There's obviously been quite a lot of discussion on that already. We can pick up on that.
Yeah. I think most of that will be covered on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I think we'll carry on and contact obviously saying highways regarding regular updates to the renovations to all 3 roads. Well, we can carry on and contact them after Alex has been, if he doesn't respond exactly.
Yeah. They haven't been fixed by that point. Does anyone have any points to raise on in addition to what's already been raised?
No.
Can I ask a question? I believe that this is phase 1. Am I correct with that?
It is, yeah. It's on the picture on the notice.
So, in 2025, the bits that haven't been done will be done, is what they've said.
We
I
can't
just
go
asked
to
if you would ask Alex if that's the case.
I think it's 2026 for you, I think.
Oh, 2026 is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
That'll
there's
be
3
Goddington.
phases.
3 phases.
Yeah. There's the bit they're doing now, which I think they're a little bit ahead on, because I don't think they meant to do the bridge. But strangely, the bridge is tarmac, and the
Yeah.
other bit isn't.
No.
And I asked Alex why, and he hasn't answered, so maybe he will on
I think
Wednesday.
it's to get the white lines
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
because you need white lines down the middle of the road on the bridge, but you wouldn't have them the rest of the road. And you can't
And
use
you're not
you
putting
on
white
gravel.
line on.
You've got them on the turning for
Yeah.
little gates
Yeah.
on the road there.
And also the worst bit was the bit on the other side of the bridge, the dry dot side of the bridge, and they had to completely level that bit of road. And that's why they did the tarmac there, I'm sure.
I think that section on the other side of the bridge, that when I read the plans, was for the next phase, the second phase. And then I think Doddington Road is the 3rd
This
phase.
is the last one, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying I'm sure when I read the plan there was 3 phases to the work being scheduled.
Yeah, so there's the bit from the bridge up to the bit near the,
Yeah, that they've done.
near the turkey farm. That's
Yeah.
not been done. And there's the bit from Little Gates Corner.
Yes.
Yeah,
into
they're
the
on the
village.
road.
So
2
those are the
phases,
bits that
yeah.
haven't done, yeah.
It is all on the Highways website.
They did say, if you look at the notice, if there's funds, and I thought that was the bit that went past Alpaca, but we've done that now.
Yes,
Maybe they're working
that's
for
right,
that.
So maybe it work, I don't know.
Maybe it's done on a priority scale.
But all sections on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Was that the shortest strip? I presume
I
it
think
was,
so,
was it?
yeah.
Maybe they've done that thinking that they'll be faster.
I mean, it's a great, but other than that, other than creating the potholes with the road sweeper, because whatever they said, that's what caused those potholes. The road sweeper that came along to do it. Because I walked down there on a night after it had been done. It hadn't set. Johnny and myself walked down there.
saw the road sweeper,
The tarmac was still done. It had not dried off. And the road sweeper came along to take the excess grit off. Now I wrote to Alex about this, and that's what caused those. It was not farm machinery.
If anyone's been down there, they have filled some of the bits near the bridge.
I watched a cyclist almost come
Well,
off
they're
on it
too
on
quite
Sunday.
bad to go.
Because if you go to the other end at Donington, it's perfect. It's absolutely great.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's Wednesday.
So that's postponed for Wednesday, isn't it? Really?
Yes.
Well, not as a
So-
vote, 'cause that's not a parish council meeting.
Right. Okay.
So do we want to move to the motion as whether or not we're going to contact LCC and Highways regarding regular updates on the renovations to
I
all
think
of the
so.
3 roads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's forwarding, who's seconding?
Put it forward then.
I'll second.
Agenda item number 9, further progress made on the design and installation of a village sign.
Yeah, I've done some basic artwork, just a mock-up, but until we know whether we can get funding or not, because they're so expensive, we can't really move until we know that there's some kind of a grant or a fund that can assist in the purchase of the sign. I mean, we've got quotes from they were circulated last time. And so, yeah, until there's some kind of movement on grants or whatever, then we can't really take it any further.
We're still working on it, aren't we? Still progress going.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no further to say.
But yeah, I've done the initial design that's got the church and a few bits and bobs on it. But until we can go a bit further, then I can't really do any more.
Okay, thank you very much. Agenda item number 10, drainage on the, especially noting Fenton Lane. Quite a lot of discussion on this already.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it could be Wednesday, won't it, to start, but it can be.
I think we still
Yeah, there's still
need to
the
encourage
motion.
residents
Yeah.
to. I know that there's been a lot of comments about it not being any point on Fix My Street, and I can totally understand that because it doesn't always work, does it? But if we do that as well as the council having a go,
The campaign that would be.
you said before.
What would be our method of forward actually encouraging the residents? Are we looking to put a sign up, perhaps on the parish board, to highlight the where to go to raise it, or
Yes,
is
we
there any
can do.
thoughts to?
Can we use the email system?
I would suggest not for council business because we're not holding the email addresses. And so anyone emailing would be emailing on behalf of the council, which would show that somebody's holding it. So
You can put it in the minutes, isn't it, to advertise.
yeah.
That doesn't stop anyone from this meeting from telling us.
Absolutely not.
No.
Okay, any more points on agenda item number 10?
No.
Okay, in that case, the motion is to encourage residents via village email and website to file their requests for any issues with the roads and drainage on Fix My Street.
I'll second.
Okay, happy to propose it.
Yeah. And then the final agenda item for tonight is the neighbourhood plan update.
Yeah, that's me, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's because we've got a new government, they're altering the way that that planning allocation and decisions are made, and so we don't know at this point whether neighbourhood plans will carry any weight or not, whereas before they did. We don't know how much it's going to be, how much it will just be decided at central government that, you know, you're having this many houses and that's it. And whether there's no point in us updating the neighbourhood plan at this point, even though it's out of date and it needs doing.
Was there funding for the supporting the updating of the plan?
You
Discussed before.
got funding last time, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there was.
Yeah, the local authority, like in SKDC, they have grants that fund the updating of neighbourhood plans. Or the
Is that
creation
still
of them.
going ahead even with the uncertainty of the future?
We don't know. We don't know. Yeah, because
We should, well, the council must know if they pause that funding or stream or not.
yeah, but the way that it works is that obviously our neighbourhood plan has to accord with the local plan that South Stephen holds. But now their local plan will be out of date because there's new legislation going through Parliament to alter the allocation of housing. And so it's going to have to come like from the top down. And so it's at the consultation process at the moment, sort of with big developers and planning consultants and that sort of thing. And so until the legislation's gone through in the new year, we just don't know how neighbourhood plans... Because there were a new thing, if you remember, there was like the Localism Act in 2011, when all this started to be rolled out, where the decision making was devolved to local, so that locals have more say.
And the whole reason we did it was because of the wind farm.
Exactly.
So it was in order for the village to get its say on the planning issues in South Castile.
Yeah, well, I think for lots, you know, assuming that it does go through Parliament, okay, renewables will no longer be decided at South Castile, it goes to central government.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, you know, and obviously because they're pro-renewable, it's going to be more difficult. But having said that, it's only at the white paper stage, I believe, and so...
I suppose the point then, Jackie, is whether central government take any notice of if they're making a decision rather than South Stephen.
Exactly.
We'll need to know whether they will take account of a neighbourhood plan or not, as part of their consideration.
Yeah, well, that's it. We just don't know.
No, I accept.
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying. We don't know at the moment.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
Do we have an idea of timeline?
New Year at some point, but I think it'll be longer. I think we're looking into next spring because legislation, it's such a massive thing, because I think with the last government they introduced a white paper to reform planning and then they ended up dropping it because there was such a big backlash about it. And so, you know, everybody's pro-housing until it's in their backyard, and then
that's it by Christmas.
And then they don't want it. So
it does, but at least it's a timeline, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it'll be delays from there.
This is the report from Penny. I'll put it up on the board. I didn't read it.
Yeah.
Info from her, don't we?
Sorry?
We need more info because reading that report,
Well,
there's still a lot of questions.
Regular updates, I think.
I don't think Penny knows herself because they're a little bit put back with the housing and everything from SKDC because they're waiting for central government to make things.
Central government definitely don't know, so...
Yeah. So there is what's called an NPPF, a National Planning Policy Framework Review at the moment that's meant to be going on till Christmas. But you know how that works out, don't you? It could be Christmas. We haven't said which Christmas yet. So, yeah. But the ongoing local plan review is also happening, like you said.
Yeah, well, they've only just, updated it, and now they'll have to update the local plan again.
So SKDC are having problems with their housing targets already because they're trying to get them done in a certain time and they haven't got policy to put them in force.
I mean, I suppose the bit that's here is that Penny has said all settlements have a role to play, although there will be no allocations in the smaller villages, Stockton, Fullback, Hoff, nor in open countryside, and then she goes on to say Galston, Brandon, Fenton, and so it isn't as though we've got a mandatory allocation. But then she goes on to say...
An opportunity basis.
Yeah, it says, I don't actually understand what she means by this. She says, however, they remain open to windfall applications determined under the prevailing, that's the existing, National planning policy framework, local plan and neighbourhood plan where it is up to date. But obviously it just wouldn't be worth us updating our neighbourhood plan and then having to do it again in the new year because it's going to cost thousands. In fact, I don't South Coast even wouldn't issue a grant because they'd just say it needs to be updated when the legislation.
It seems so, but
Yeah.
Well, that's the issue that we've had all along, because when we went to see them again, said, can we do an amendment? The answer is, no, you can't do an amendment, you have to write a new neighbourhood plan. You have to start from scratch, because it has to go all the way back through all the authority.
I mean, it's ridiculous because when you read it, a lot of it is to do with the history of the village, and that doesn't change.
No.
You know, that's...
No.
The problem we've got is that we can't write a neighbourhood plan or whether it's a new one. I mean, they say you can't amend an old one, but I think in reality, if you rewrote that exactly as it is now with some changes and go, that's our new neighbourhood plan, they're not going to turn around and say, oh, it's not sufficiently different to your old one.
Well, you
Which
know
adds
that-
up 10.
Yeah.
But, so even if we want to do that, we can't write it in a way that contradicts SKBC's local plan.
No.
They haven't written that yet because they can't write a plan that
Because the way
contradicts
it's
national planning
all,
policy.
yeah, just,
So
yeah.
we're not only one step away from knowing where we're at, we're 2 or 3 steps away.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, I think there's people ask new government, we're going to do this, this and this and this, and we're going to start with pensioners to death and all that sort of thing. That's come out, and then will it actually happen? I don't really know. So there's a lot of noise, but I don't know how much.
At least they're very well dressed.
And they can eat their winter fuel allowances instead. But there's a lot of bravado, and yet we've now straight away lifted the ban on onshore wind, for instance, and that's not the only thing our neighbourhood plan needs to be about.
Yeah.
But it's
a
a
major
key driver,
consideration,
definitely.
And it's also like the well, I mean, I'm a bit of a geek. I watch sort of the local farming, the local farmers on YouTube,
Right.
and they're sort of lobbying about all of these solar farms. They're not happy about so much land being taken out of production. You know, and so they're sort of trying to lobby government to make it a bit more sensible.
Unfortunately, I fear that as government becomes more centralised, they're going to get less. There's a greater understanding and physical distance between
Exactly.
what goes on in Westminster
Yeah.
and what goes on here.
Yeah.
But they'll quite happily say, no, we can turn acres of, thousands and thousands of acres of agricultural land over to solar, for instance,
Yeah.
and then just spend a fortune on diesel shipping in grain from the other side of the world.
Well, one of the ones that I watch, Andrew Ward, near Bruton, you know, I think he rents one of his farms out that's 400 acres, and every single acre of it is being turned over to the SFI scheme. It's all going to be like the land past me. There's no grain production at all.
do you have any more on the neighbourhood plan?
No, it's. I mean, that's really as it is. It's that we're just up in the air with it.
Yeah. So I suppose my question is, we've kind of discussed the timeline. Do we have a method for getting the updates? Are we still going to be going through Penny to get regular updates on?
Well, as I say, it's at the consultation process with the major developers and central government at the moment.
Yeah.
And so until that legislation has gone through in the new year, if it does go through, then the local authority can't update either. They'll probably have a good idea.
Yeah, what I'm getting at is as long as we've got a plan and a timescale in place.
Yeah, but it's going to be into next year, yeah,
Oh,
obviously.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. So
It
that's,
sounds
that's
like
it.
Jackie's got a real good handle on what's going on in London, so keep monitoring it and but also keep in touch with Penny for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she's the one who knows what's happening at local level, isn't she?
Yeah.
Right, any more points on the final agenda point number 11? Okay, so the final point is the date and time of the next meeting is planned to be 7 p.m. 1900 on the 16th of December.
Gosh.
2023.
Only just.
Can I just confirm, there was 4 motions tonight, wasn't there? Can I just confirm the voting on those? Can I just confirm the voting on the 4 motions?
It's all there.
Yep.
voting on all the motions?
Yeah.
On all of them?
Yeah, just to make sure that we, if we can
I
help
don't know if they
pass or
can
reject
all
it correctly.
I'll put it in there, but I think I've written it down. But on the,
Draft minutes.
Number 4, I proposed it, Jackie Britton
Seconded.
seconded it.
Yeah.
It was passed unanimous. I can't even say it, everyone passed it. Tongue tied today.
Point 7, Sam. Biodiversity.
Yeah.
I propose. Come to a second.
Jackie Britton.
Thank you.
Okay.
Point 8. Motion to contact LCC and Highways.
Sam proposed and Jackie seconded.
Yes,
Great. And the final motion?
10.
I proposed and Jackie Britton Crooks also seconded.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've been busy.
Thank you very much. That does close the Sutton Parish Council meeting. Thank you all very much.
Anyone not got your tickets for the hard